Whew. All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, glory, and fear to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Hakodash. Also, want to give double honor to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who I learned this truth from. And as always, peace and love towards the Lord's hopeful elect. I'm back at it with another spiritual lesson. I don't know exactly what I'm going to title it, but it's going to go in relation to the spirit of having a spiritual experience. All right. So what you see on the screen, and I've brought this out before, but the spirit is like the wind, man. All right, man's going to the Lord. So this is a picture of me and a couple guys that I knew when I was in the military. Now we're spiritual men and women, right? We often, especially the prophets, when we see the number 144 in whatever order the Lord has it, it could be 414 backwards or what have you, we believe through the spirit, you know, that's Yahweh Shema Shah strengthening us, giving us comfort. All right. So everybody wouldn't see the number 144 and equate that with their coming salvation, their hope for salvation. They'll just look at it like it's a regular number, just like they would probably look at this picture and think nothing of it. Lord willing, we are of his hopeful elect, and that we will receive salvation predestined. Okay, so the reason why I brought this out through the spirit, as you can see, everybody has on sunglasses except me. And if you're wondering which one is me, I mean, come on, man, the black guy. All right, so they're all wearing sunglasses. To me, this is spiritual. Okay, it's the spirit of them not being able to stand that light, which ultimately is Malak Yahweh Shah, Yahweh and Yahweh Shah. Okay, in relation to 2/3 of the nation of Israel, as well as those who this truth is not for, not being able to see. Notice how I was able to stand the bright light of that sun, and the rest of these, for face value, they're Edomites except Saul. He's a second guy from the left. He, for face value, seemed like a Northern Kingdom Jake, but other than that, those were pretty much Edomites that I was with during this deployment. I don't even know which deployment this was. Okay. But that's the point, man. Let me bring this out in the book of Romans. Okay. This is Romans chapter 11 and verse 7. What then? Israel have not obtained that which he seeketh for. What are we seeking for? Wisdom will tell us salvation. All right, a deliverance from our oppressors. Okay, Esau, Edom, the rest of these heathen nations, 2/3 of the nation of Israel, because all these are enemies of Yahweh Bahashim Hawashai, which means they're enemies of us. So we need to be delivered from this madness, get our power, our strength back, and rule over these clowns with a rod of iron. Okay, so again, what then? Israel have not obtained that which he seeketh for. Yeah, the wicked. Okay, it says, but the election have obtained it, and the rest were blinded. So there it is, going into the Lord, revealing his secret unto his servants, the prophets. All right, the spirit of the spirit of the prophets are subject unto the prophets, as well as the believers of the prophets. Okay, so Lord willing, we're predestined to receive this glorious truth, which will provide us which with what we seek. Tongue twister. Which what we seek for, which again is salvation, mercy from Yahweh Bahashim Shai, and everything that comes with it. Remember, eyes have not seen, ears have not heard the things that Yahweh Bahashim Shai have prepared for those who love him. Now we'll get more into this in relation to experience. So now I'm speaking spiritually first and foremost. We have to have a spiritual experience, but some of our carnal experience will aid. Okay, all right, the experience basically is a catalyst for spiritual maturity. So the things that we go through carnally, and it's really all spiritual, okay, will help us if we're able to receive what the Lord is teaching us. Okay, so what have we been prophesying as the hopeful prophets? War. Okay, that destruction is getting ready to come to this earth like we've never seen before, and that we got to prepare ourselves by hiding ourselves in the name Yahweh Yahweh Shah. Okay, so once again, this is my carnal experience that hopefully will aid into my spirituality, my faith, all right, and my obedience towards Yahweh Shema Shai when we are experiencing a time like the earth has never seen before. Okay, this is a special forces compound in Iraq. All right, this is in Iraq. I'm not sure what deployment I'm on, but I'm out there. All right, so Firebase Bennett, this Sergeant Bennett was killed in '03. I was not in the military. Come to think about it, I do believe I was in middle school in 2003. Isn't that something? You know what I mean? Like, how did I end up in Iraq that quick in '07? You know, when I was in middle school in 2003, when Sergeant Bennett was unalived in Iraq, and the significance of going back to the experience. So I was in if you don't know, the U.S. has, special operations, the Navy SEALs. That's the, Navy special operations. They got some more. The Marines have theirs, the Air Force, etc. The Army, you got the Rangers, you got some more, but you got the Green Berets. All right, this is the unit. This is the 5th Special Forces unit. It is the most decorated, most awarded unit, all right, special forces unit in the United States. All right, every special forces unit has their own area of operation, their AO. Okay, meaning they train. Like, if you go to first group out of Washington, you will see a lot of snowmobiles and shit, because their I don't even remember where their AO is. It isn't the Middle East. 5th group's AO is in fact the Middle East, where their war was at in Iraq and Afghanistan. All right, so they have, their clothing, all right, their vehicles, all pertaining to that Middle East area. All right, the languages they speak, that's also part of being a Green Beret. You have to speak foreign languages, etc. All right, so being in that unit, seeing those things in a time of war, in a time of conflict, in a time of operation, okay, it led me to learn some things in relation to what we're getting ready to go through. Okay, the Lord said that this is going to be a time like the earth has never seen before, and we got to meditate on that. Okay, so first and foremost, let me get this in the book of 2 Corinthians, and we're going to get into this a little bit. All right, this is 2 Corinthians chapter 13. In verse 5, examine yourselves whether you be in the faith. So we need to constantly be examining ourselves to make sure that we have enough oil, if you will, stored up for this great tribulation. Make sure that we got faith combined with works, because faith without works is dead, man. And you have to have first and foremost the spiritual experience. And we give reverence unto, decent men, the elders, apostles of Great Millstone, and all the brothers. All right, no matter what their rank is, we give reverence to these brothers, as hopeful prophets of Yahweh Bahashem and Yahweh Shah. So we want to constantly be examining ourselves to make sure we got the experience, all right, to execute a certain level of faith like this world has never seen before. Remember the hour of temptation in which we speak of, man, where the Lord is going to try us all. So we're going to have to execute a certain level of faith like the earth has never seen before. Examine yourselves, okay? Meditate. Pray to Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shah. Check yourself. Look in the mirror. Are you just talking that shit by a time of war and you ain't never threw a punch out here? You better reconsider, all right? And stay humble and pray to Yahweh Hashem Shah. Again, just because I've been out here with and seen a whole bunch of crazy shit doesn't mean that I'm fully prepared. But what it does mean is that carnally, there's the spirit of war. I'm more prepared than some motherfucker that was not in the motherfucking war, that ain't never experienced that. And that's just Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shah knows true. That's about experience, and we're definitely going to bring those precepts out. All right, this isn't a time to pretend. This ain't a time to front. All right, this is a time to stay humble. All right, and the reason why we do these epistles is for the sheep. We have these experiences. Again, I have the whole war thing being, dealing with in the special operations side of things, man. All right, you got brothers who have been homeless, brothers who have lost houses. That's the same thing, right? Children, all right, women, husbands, what have you? Okay, been fired, all type of things, been locked up. The apostles have done their testimony about, being locked up. These things we need to consider about the men that we're listening to, their experiences, okay, because it helps us through our journey, okay. If we, okay, because the elder from Chicago camp, right? I believe he was in the Marines, man. All right, that's his story. I don't know what year he was in the Marines, but hey, he went out there with us. This is my story. That's what Yahweh Shema Shah placed upon me. And remember, the Lord will never place anything upon you that you can't handle. For you, you gentlemen out there that didn't go to the war, probably couldn't handle it. I'm not saying that, for my brothers, that you'll be able to handle everything that the Lord throws upon you. I'm speaking more so about 2/3 niggas, all right? 2/3 Edomites, or 2/3 Edomites, or the Edomites that didn't go to the war and protect their country, quote unquote. Okay, they don't have the experience necessary to be stable during Jacob's trouble. First and foremost, the Lord taught us these things, that wisdom shall be the stability of thy time. Not worldly wisdom, okay, not carnal wisdom, but in fact, the true living waters, which is Yahweh Hashem Shah and the doctrine thereof, man. Okay, so we want to meditate on these things and make sure that we're constantly examining ourselves. So back 2 Corinthians 13:5 again. Examine yourselves, whether you be in the faith. Prove your own selves. Know ye not your own selves how that Yahushua Hamashiach is in you, except ye be reprobate. So we got to constantly be examining ourselves, man. Is you really ready for a time like the earth has never seen before? Check out the blackouts that's happening now. Okay, where's that at? Indiana, Gary mostly. Are y'all ready for that? Are we ready for that? A blackout? If a blackout happened today, are you prepared to have faith? I've been told y'all through the Spirit about praying and fasting, okay? It's not a light thing. That means as soon as you have inadequate nutrition, or the perception of the access to it being in jeopardy, you got to go into your faith. You got to have the experience of what it's like not to stuff your face 24/7. The Lord said his servants is going to eat. Ain't no telling like when exactly he's going to provide that food, but he's not going to let you starve to death is the point. You may have to go a period of time without eating. Who knows how long? It may be a few hours, my God, or it could be a few days. But if you don't have the experience of not stuffing your damn mouth 24/7, you are not ready for a famine. You're not ready for a blackout. All these things, the food is the first thing that's going to be in jeopardy in that refrigerator, then the freezer food. Okay, so we want to examine ourselves to make sure that we are ready for Jacob's trouble. Okay, so back into this whole experience. Let me I'm gonna go in, man. Let's go to the book. Let me get my Bible here. Let's go to the book of Ecclesiasticus. Yep, the book of Sirach, chapter 34 and 9. Okay, a man that have traveled knoweth many things. The elders and apostles of Great Millstone, spiritually first and foremost, but also the things that they have experienced carnally. I believe Apostle Tahar boxed, right? He know about boxing. I don't know if he boxed and was a trainer, but I've heard the brother, all right, mention boxing a lot, man. That's an experience that he can use when he was boxing and when he was training, that helps him in the truth, the spirit to keep going, the mentality. And that's what I have. That's what the Lord has given me, the mentality of war, to know what it feels like to have the ground shake, to be out there sleeping outside, bullets flying, shit like that. A lot of people talk that motherfucking talk, but they ain't never had a bullet fly nowhere near, ain't never felt like that, but be boasting and shit like they just goddamn Rambo or something. And I'm not saying I'm damn Rambo, but I'm saying I'm more Rambo like than anybody that didn't step their foot in the fucking sandbox with their pretend asses. I don't care. If you were back here with the women folk, you were back here with the women folk while we was kicking ass, okay? Man's goings of the Lord. A man that have traveled knoweth many things, and he that have much experience will declare wisdom. That's the prophets ultimately, man. We're having this knowledge that comes from the ancient of days, Yahweh, okay, and his only begotten son, Yahushua. All right, we have begin to receive this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, okay, and we're coming and speaking in the spirit of one that has a certain level of wisdom, and it comes via our experience. First and foremost, spiritual experience over the carnal, but utilize what you've went through carnal, all right, to help aid in your spirituality, man. All right, because it's going to get worse. Hey, the famine of the word is going to come, and you're not always going to be comforted by the words of the prophets. You're going to have to show and prove. All right, it's going to be your time of testing. Okay, so don't take this as a light thing when you hear us and see us making these epistles. It's deadly serious, and a lot of people talk that shit, but they not really ready. All right, for no war. Fun fact: if you guys are getting shot at during Jacob's trouble, and if you're in a car, first and foremost, or behind the car out, first and foremost, hey, the Lord is going to be with you. Okay, if the Lord don't want you to get shot, you're not getting shot, my guy, my chick. Okay, my sister, my brother, you're not getting shot. But just fun fact, two best places to hide if you're taking contact. All right, the engine block, okay, and the wheel well. Okay, other than that, them bullets is flying through that car. We have this experience, man. Hey, you hide behind that engine block, it's a big piece of damn metal pretty much. You see what I'm saying? Hey, 223s, all that shit is going through that car, especially these modern cars that's made out of damn near plastic, or that wheel well, okay? And you gotta be right up on that wheel well, man, where that metal meets, you know what I mean? All that lug nut and shit right there. Other than that, them bullets is going through that car, man. So just fun fact, all right, for somebody who actually experienced this and isn't just talking, okay? He that hath no experience knoweth little. Going into these scriptures, man, dealing with the milk, being brought up the right way. A lot of people ain't brought up the right way, and they want to put themselves in position that they ought not put themselves in, man, because they don't have the spiritual experience that starts from being brought up the right way, receiving that milk, the sincere milk of the word. So he that have no experience knoweth little, but he that have traveled is full of prudence. So going back to my own personal testimony, my own personal experience, I have a little bit experience being in combat conflict with an extremely lethal unit. So lethal, we can prove all things, right? A quick boy, man. I've been going in, boy. I googled because I already knew the answer, but I want y'all to see. Just going back into the experience. Remember, we're coming up into a time like the earth has never seen before. I googled what United States or AI'd what United States Special Forces group, because there's a couple of groups scattered throughout Babylon the Great. Okay, has the most awards. Basically who's done the most shit. Okay, it says the 5th Special Forces Group. And guess what? I was in the 5th Special Forces Group, meaning I was in a unit that really do that shit, that really kick indoors, that'll really jump out halo, high altitude, low opening in the middle of the night. All right, with some fucking O2 mask on. All right, drop, run a certain amount, kick your fucking door in. All right, get all the motherfucking bad guys. All right, we put bags over their head, chem lights on them, strap them down to a plane. Really seen these things, man. All right, from this group, this Special Forces group. This is what Yahweh Hashem Hawashah has allowed me, all right, to experience, and it will help during Jacob's trouble. Not the damn carnal combat skills, mind you, okay, but the mentality thereof, man. The spirit to keep going. That's what they taught us in special operations, for damn sure. Every special operation, that's their main thing. When it comes to the selection programs that they have, buds, for the army, selection, okay, in the Q course. I don't know what the Marine Raiders go through, but it's so many, Hey, it's always about never giving up and ultimately never quitting. So we got to remember that in this truth, man. All right, to keep going no matter what. All right, so that carnal experience that I had aids me to have that type of mentality. I'd have been through so much shit that my own brothers don't even really understand, because I don't mention it all. But I've dealt with, a high level of depression, and, drinking myself to oblivion, and smoking myself to oblivion, and being very violent, and all these things that come with real experiences, man. Okay. But ultimately, Yahweh Shema Shah, Lord willing, is dealing with me, and he's working on my mind whenever season he wants to work on my mind. He gave me over to that shit, and it did ultimately help me. I'm glad I experienced what it was like to not be a part of society, all right, to be a damn so-called loner, because who knows what I'm gonna go through personally during Jacob's trouble. Okay, the Lord is preparing me. He's preparing you, brothers, you sisters, personally, for whatever you're getting ready to go through, if you trust the process, man. Okay. And then so back to Sergeant Bennett, man. They made a movie concerning about this guy, all right, and his team, man. It says and I just a quick Google about how that Because again, that was '03. We had one guy. I'm not gonna bring it up, that died during my deployment. Not finna bring that up. But just to show you just how like elite the group is, man. You know, Sergeant First Class William Bennett. That's the compound that I'm on, that they named it after. They made a movie about this guy and his team, my guy. All right, so he's in 3rd Battalion. That was the battalion I was in, 5th Special Forces Group, right? He was unalived in action September 12, 2003 during a firefight in Ramadi, or Iraq. You know, we've been all over these places, man. All right, says Bennett was unalived from wounds sustained while his team was executing a night raid against hostile enemy forces. Hey, that's that spirit of Esau Edom, man. That's that sword in action, which Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shah allowed me to see, okay, firsthand. Yeah. In the movie, that Sergeant Bennett and his team is called 12 Strong. So if you brothers, you know, want to check that out, you brothers and sisters, hey man, you know, I'm familiar with, you know, this mentality. All right, they made a movie about this shit, so I was there, man. I've seen this shit. I've seen some shit, boy. You know, and ultimately, Lord willing, you know, the things that I've seen, the things that I've done and experienced will help me spiritually, not carnally, because we finna bring all these precepts out, man. Let's get to it. Okay, where was I at? 2, 3. We'll go to the book of Romans, chapter 5, and 3. And it reads, and not only so, but we glory in tribulations. Remember, the servant's not greater than the master. We got to glory in our sufferings, crazy as it sounds. But if we're suffering for righteousness' sake, that means that we are probably Yahweh Shai's, man. Yahweh Shai's, okay? And not only so, but we glory in tribulations also, knowing that tribulation worketh patience, man. And patience, experience. So spiritually, first and foremost, all right, the spiritual things that we do, pray, fasting, for us that teach, studying to show yourself approved, man, constantly being involved in holy conversation, departing ourselves from wickedness, coming up out of that old mentality, putting off that old man, okay? And hope maketh not ashamed. So we're not ashamed of what we're saying, because the love of Yahweh Shema Shah is shed abroad in our hearts by the Holy Ghost, which is given unto us through the Spirit of power of Yahweh Shema Shah. And that's what we're experiencing, that change, all right, that process back unto Yahweh Shema Shah, that process that leads unto salvation, repentance, sorrowful spirit, okay? That all these things, man, like Yahweh Shah went through. He is the ultimate leader, all right? He is the author of our salvation, all right? We want to follow that and trust the process thereof. We'll get into some of this war stuff soon, all right? Yep. So we're going to go over to the book of Exodus. Now, remember, man's goings are of the Lord. It seems to be around 2007. That is when Yahweh Shema Shah placed the spirit on, you know, the apostles of Great Millstone to come on YouTube. Trust the process. Dude, I was in Iraq. You know, all right? Man's goings of the Lord. There's no way I could have received this truth then, okay? And the elders too, you know, they came on the scene around that time. We was in Iraq, but you see, I have received the name Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shah a little bit later on. Trust the process, man, and trust everybody's experience, okay? I bring that type of experience of chaos and war, you know, amongst the brethren. I just don't lie to us. All y'all ain't experienced that. Some of you brothers never experienced getting shot at, never experienced being locked up, none of that. Listen to us. We don't boast in this shit carnally, but we're going to boast in it righteously, because man's going to utter Lord, okay? And this is the book of Exodus. You already know where I'm going, okay? This is the book of Exodus. And then we're going to chapter 15. In verse 3, straight to the point. The Lord, and that's a Yahweh, all right? Bahashem Yahweh Shah, all right? You see Yahweh Shah, you see the Father, all right? So that means both of them. The Lord is a man of war. Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shah is his name. That's straight to the point. Man's goes to other Lord, all right? And the scriptures speak about how the Lord feels about a man of war that suffer poverty. The Lord don't like that, all right? So for you, you know, you just got to like, be careful, because I hear a lot of brothers and shit always talking down on the military, as they should, all right, you know, because this ain't our damn nation to be dying for and fighting for, all right? But the Lord is a man of war, And you heard what Yahweh Shemashah, how he feels about a man of war that suffered poverty. Doesn't matter what fucking army you was in. If you was in an army, it was sanctioned by Yahweh Shemashah. All right, he sent you out there. He the one sent you on that battlefield, and not your punk ass, wicked ass brothers and sisters that were just. And I say wicked now. I ain't talking about the sincere Akim Akwa, but for the rest of these busters, okay, you niggas didn't do shit. but stay here with the women folks stomping the yard. I always say that. But the Lord is a man of war. Now, first and foremost, all right, we're in a spiritual war that's going to manifest to a carnal war, to a physical war, okay? But right now, we cannot be carnal, okay? I can't use those skills, okay, right now, okay, and take up a sword. No, we have to fight through the spirit. So, let's go to the book of 2 Corinthians. Okay? This is the book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 10 and verse 4. For the weapons, we'll start at 3. For though we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal. Okay, so if they're not carnal, that word